Hey everybody, it's Mr. 845 here, and we're interviewing another small business. Check this out. This is Cherilyn. She owns Cherilyn's School of Dance. Did I get that right?
You got it right.
All right, sweet. Um, so tell us, Cherilyn, like who you guys are and what do you do?
So we have been in Pleasant Valley for the last, we are in our 21st year now. We have always been in Pleasant Valley, and we are really focused on fun, creativity. It's all about the kids. We range from little ones from 12 months old all the way up to 18, and even adult classes we've been hosting recently. So that's been a lot of fun to get adults involved. But we're just really community oriented. We love doing outside events, and outside performances, and we welcome, families and children of all levels and ages.
Okay. If people wanted to get in touch with you, because I like to do this in the beginning, if they want to get in touch with you, they want to sign up for classes, they want a demo or whatever, what way is the best way?
So you can call us or email. We check our emails daily. So the phone number will be 845-635-5908. Or you can email us. It is the full studio name spelt out. So it's Sherilyn's School of Dance.com. We also have our website is Sherilyn'sDance.com.
All right.
I can spell my name if you want me to. I know it's a long
So
one.
it's Cherilyn, correct?
That's right.
All right. Just
Yes.
want to make sure. And we'll be posting this on the actual post, so we'll post all that information on there. So you just send it to me after this, and we'll make sure
Okay.
that it's up there. So kind of
Okay.
going into it, a lot of questions I usually ask a lot of business owners is I'm sure that dance school or running a dance school was not your first choice when you were younger. So when you were younger or when you were little, what did you really want to be when you grew up?
Yeah, I mean, when I was little, so I actually have danced since I was three.
Mhm.
So it's definitely always been a passion, not necessarily maybe what I intended to be. When I was going to be going to, thinking about schooling and stuff, I wanted to be a school psychologist. I wanted to be a veterinarian, photographer. I loved everything that basically involves people or people's thoughts, communication, those kind of jobs.
Mhm.
And I did actually ended up majoring in psychology in school. And so I'm not directly using the degree, but I do feel like it helps me with communicating and conflict resolution and all of those things that happen within the business. But I definitely wanted to do something with psychology first. Yeah.
I mean, working with children is always a psychological battle. So,
Yeah. Yes.
um,
Yes, it is. Yes,
but
it
you know,
is.
so you went from where you were looking at to school like basically teaching a dance school. So take us through the history, like what kind of brought you over to the owning part of the dance school.
Yeah, I mean, as I got older as a dance student, like I mentioned, I started when I was three. So as I got older, I got into competitive dance, and literally it became my life. I danced probably at least 4 or 5 days a week, every day, all day Saturdays. I went to so many different places. I studied in the city, and it just really became something I was fascinated by, and like I said, super passionate about. So when I was 18, actually, an opportunity presented itself in town where the studio owner was looking to sell her business. And my mom and I were like, man, this is like the time. I was only 18, so it was really scary, but we were like, this is like, we should do it now. So I kind of had the decision where do I want to focus more on like the performing aspect of dance? Or do I want to focus on like studio ownership and help other people, inspire other people to fuel their passion for performing and dance? So we decided to, kind of jump on that opportunity. And, here we've changed locations within town. Twice, but I'm couldn't have been happier with my choice. I really genuinely love inspiring dance through the community of kids, and it's been a journey, but it's been a fun one.
Yeah. So speaking of the address, just want to make sure where are you located now?
So we are at 18 West Road, in Pleasant Valley. We are in the Sawmill Plaza.
Okay. Is that the one that we went to the event that I did my event at?
Yeah,
Okay. So just so you guys have
yeah.
some
So
background, yeah. Yeah, so just so you guys
yeah.
have background as you're listening, my first beauty, health, and wellness expo that I ever did, pretty much my first event, period. I did at Cherilyn's dance school of dance. So it was the beauty, health, and wellness expo. It was one of my first events. It actually went pretty well for a first event for anything. But shout out to you for giving me that opportunity. So I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So you were
And
saying,
I actually didn't know that was your first event. That's pretty cool.
yeah, no, repeat that one more time because you broke up.
Sorry, I said I did not realize it was your first event. That's really
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So, the whole part of dance, I danced in high school. I mean, I'm Puerto Rican, so I grew up with a whole bunch of family, like teaching me to dance and stuff like that. But what type of dances do you do at Sherilyn's School of Dance?
So we offer ballet, tap, hip hop, tumbling, Irish step, excuse my voice, lyrical, contemporary. We also do like toddler, mommy and me classes starting at 12 months old. And then we just were running an adult hip hop class as well. So I think I mentioned everything, but we try to really have a nice variety of options for people.
Okay. Um, it's important for people to kind of understand kind of like how the school works and stuff like that. So if they take us through like a first day, right? So like they're interested, they want to sign up with you. Take us kind of like their first class and stuff like that. Kind of how do you intro a new student?
Sure. So we will talk to them, however, email or phone. We schedule their private lesson, or excuse me, their trial lesson, which we always offer free trial lessons for new students. And they would come in, we would greet them at the desk, show them where, their room is. We have three different rooms that we teach in. So we will show them which room is theirs. We'll introduce them to their teacher, and we allow them to head into class. They can either watch or they can participate, whatever their comfort level is. And then, we follow up with them and we'll check once the class is over and see how they enjoyed it. If there's anything else they'd like to try, and hopefully, continue our relationship with them as they register.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to learn dance music. I know that a lot of schools have taken it out of their curriculum, but it is an important thing to be able to know, kind of like where the history of music and like dance has always been a part of my life. So I don't know how to say it, but for other people's lives, I'm sure that dance is a part of their everyday life. It's a great way to do exercise. It's a
Mhm.
great way to express yourself. There are scholarships, if I'm not mistaken, that you could get in schools, in college, that could potentially help you pay for college. So there's a lot of different opportunities that you have, especially when you go into the realm of dance. But what are, like, let's say somebody's started going to your classes, and take us through like the path. So they just learn, right? They have like a pageant, I'm sure, at the end of each year. And is there any competitions or anything like that that they go to as well, or?
Yeah, so we have two different programs within the studio. We have our performance program, um, which are the dancers who don't want maybe a lot of commitment. They just want to take one or two classes. And, maybe they're doing it for the fun, like you said, or the socialization or the exercise, the confidence boosting. All of those things are great for someone who takes one class or 20 classes. Um, and every single dancer, our performance dancers, we perform in a holiday show that we do in December. And then we also have our spring recital in June at the end of the year, which is our main recital for everyone. Excuse me. And then we also have our competition dancers. So we hold auditions every year. So even if our a dancer has been on the team for 8 years, they still audition every year. And my feeling behind that is we change placement sometimes, but it's more so to help prepare them for everyday life if they want to go on a job interview one day, or they want to go audition for a dance show, something to help build their confidence in auditioning and interviewing.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's part of why we do that every year. And then our team dancers do compete. We do 5 competitions a year. They also perform in an end of year recital, and they also get the opportunity. Like, we sometimes go to nationals in the summer. We used to do the Dutchess County Fair. We loved that before they stopped doing the talent tent. That was a lot of fun. But we try to get all of our dancers, our performance kids, and our team kids to do as many performances as possible.
yeah. So I mean, it's really cool to see these kids compete, like their little legs going at it, like
Yeah.
dancing or whatever. So
Yeah.
so it is a cute thing to see. I know that kids are a little bit difficult, right? But one of the main questions I want to ask is like, what is your biggest challenge in not only opening the studio, which you kind of went into a little bit, but also maintaining the studio, more on the business side? I want to let people know it's not like puppies and rainbows. Owning a business has
No,
challenges.
it does. It's hard because, if anything goes wrong, it comes to me, right? And I have to deal with that. And there are a lot of moving parts within the business, and maintaining, I mean, this probably sounds super silly, but even like maintaining all the floors, right? The floors get a beating, and the constant cleaning that you have to do like on a regular basis, and keeping everything safe is difficult. The business side, of course, there's constant ordering, all that stuff. And then also, even just kind of in general, I feel like sometimes people think, as like a dance teacher, we just show up into the room and we're ready to go, right? But there's so much planning and lesson planning, kind of tailoring your class to your students' levels and staying fresh with current moves, and all of that stuff, even on that side, can be challenging because there's always so much research to be done. You want to make sure everything is safe for the kids as far as the movements that they're doing, the space that they're in. So there's definitely a lot of extra things on top of just the hours that we do in the studio, because sometimes people see, oh, you're only there from like 4 to 8, or whatever, but there's so many other moving parts that have to be done and thought about other than just that hour or two in the studio.
Yeah. I mean, how many teachers do you have now?
I am very blessed to say that I have 14 staff members, and they are wonderful. They all bring something different to the table. And I'm very, very lucky to have some pretty great teachers at the studio.
Yeah. I mean, now they all teach different styles, or is it kind of like you have them broken up into stuff and
Yeah, so I have some that specialize more with the little ones, like our little ones ages 3 to 6, some that specialize more with our older dancers. And then most of the staff, have certain styles that they are best and are most skilled in. So, maybe some just do like jazz and lyrical, and then some just do tap and hip hop, or vice versa. So we definitely, put them in their wheelhouse, if you will, of skill and comfort level as far as teaching.
and then for the moms and the dads out there that want to sign up their kid, in this day and age, there's always access to social media, internet, stuff like that that kids can learn. Like, tell me, based on your business, like how do you differentiate yourself from like other studios and somebody trying to learn something off the internet?
Yeah, the internet is tough. I mean, it's a blessing and it's tough. Um, because what we find a lot of now, so many kids want to just get to the tricks, if you will, all these like fancy, you probably Alice Cone turns and Firebirds and all these things, right? But what we try really hard to teach our kids is that, well, something I always say is, even as babies, right? You learn to crawl before you walk, and you learn to walk before you run, right? And so I know it's glamorous, and everybody, they want to come in like, I want to be able to do, 50 turns in a row, like I see my favorite dancer do online. But we have to learn how to balance first before we can turn, right? Or
Mhm.
we have to be able to do 1 turn before we can do 20 turns. And
Mhm.
so I think the challenge that teachers in general face right now is that sometimes dancers are in a hurry to want to do all of those fancy things they see online. But we, like I said, we do our best to encourage them, how important the fundamentals are and the basics are to master those, because once you master those skills, then you can do almost anything moving forward. Once you find the strength and the balance, and you get those parts moving together, then you become that unstoppable force that you're seeing online, right? So we just do it in a really caring, gentle way. We definitely like to push our dancers, but have so much fun at the same time. I think finding that balance helps us, and we genuinely care about every person that walks in. If they are a competitive dancer or a very beginner dancer, it's very important for me that they feel supported and cared for when they're in my space.
And when it comes to like partnerships, do you have any partnerships with the local schools? Like for parents, if they have their kids in schools nearby, do you guys shuttle them to the studio? I'm sure that you start practice pretty early, but take me through like if like do you have that? Let's put it that way.
So I don't currently have a relationship with the schools. There is another program I'm considering, so I don't want to quite mention it yet to see if it happens. But we have recently just partnered with the Pleasant Valley Recreation Department. So we have gone into their summer camps in the past and taught classes, but we actually are in the middle of, I'm going to be teaching it today, a 5-week mini session that we're doing with the town that they asked us if we wanted to kind of combine forces with. So they advertised informed families, and then we are teaching them a variety of different classes for the 5 weeks every Sunday.
All right. I'm trying to get people to kind of get a more of an understanding as to like, what you guys do, where you guys are located, stuff like that. So some stuff
Yeah.
that people kind of like think that you might be out of touch with. I know that you're not. I'm just saying that,
Yeah.
a lot of people make assumptions with small businesses that the owners are untouchable, right? Like in the sense that you never see them and stuff like that. I know that you're very active in your business. So, that being said, what's some advice that you can give aspiring dancers, right? Because this is going to be a follow-up question to that. But what would you give, advice to aspiring dancers, whether they're little or they're older? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to trust the process, um, and know that um, every hour, every minute that they practice or that they put into the studio is going to help them, in their daily life. It's going to help. Dance helps with so much confidence boosting. Not even just on the stage, just in general. I think the way that dancers hold themselves and communicate with others through their bodies and their words. Really just kind of they I feel like you can tell they just separate themselves from the way they hold themselves, and I think dance teaches them so much about teamwork and being able to work with others. Same thing in life, and I just think there's so many valuable skills, and I think just really trusting your teachers, your studios, and really the process of knowing, some days you may not get that skill you've been trying, but eventually you will if you just keep pushing yourself and putting yourself out there. A big moment, which is one of our favorite moments to see with our dancers, will happen, and then beautiful things, and they just start to soar, and it's really an amazing process to see a child who's maybe been struggling or having a hard time finally get that skill, or whatever it is they've been working on, and is like the best feeling to see with them. And it's just, like I said, for some it can be a really long journey. For some they catch on faster, but don't compare yourself to others, and just keep focusing on your journey, and then it'll bring you to the place you're trying to reach.
Yeah. And now you kind of added another question that I wanted to ask. So speaking of
I tend to do
memorable,
that.
yeah, speaking of memorable moments, what would you say would be the biggest memorable moment in your studio that you've seen, like with working with kids, whether that be like in the studio, at a pageant, or something like that,
Oh my gosh,
or
I don't even know if I
competition, I
can
should
say
say.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly, I really don't know if I can say one particular moment. Like, one thing I love about being a teacher now. So obviously when I was a performer, I loved it. I love being on stage. You get those butterflies in your stomach every time. So there's nothing more thrilling than waiting in the wing to go on. And I feel like I get that same feeling through all of my dancers, and I get to relive that excitement and joy through them every time, if it's recital, if it's competitions. So I love that and I'm sure my staff can say the same thing, that we get to relive all of those feelings that we had as performers through them. But there's been so many amazing experiences with owning the studio. Definitely hard days, but so many good days. I really don't know if I can choose one moment that stands out the most. There's been so many amazing moments with all these kids through the years that we've been able to support them and support their dreams and journeys with.
Good political answer. No, just like, no, but I mean,
No, but I really like.
no, I know you've
I
probably
know. I
seen
mean, I
so
really don't
many.
know.
Yeah, yeah, you've probably seen so many that it's hard to pick one, and I get it. I just figured if you had
Yeah.
something on the top of your head. But now that all being said, right, we try to aspire those up and coming dancers. We
Yeah.
also look at kind of like those beautiful moments. But now as a business owner, what could you, let's say there's going to be that person that eventually you're going to want to sell your business, let's say, right? And you're going to want to hand it off to the next teacher, kind of like what happened with you. What could you possibly say to that future owner that is aspiring to own their own studio, to eventually move into their own brand? What would you kind of give them, information wise, or even like
Yeah. I I would tell them that there are so many different influences around you all the time, and opinions. And especially being that I was so young starting it, it was a really big struggle for me personally to find the confidence in myself, and trusting my vision for where I wanted the business to go. So I think it's something to let the next person know, is to really just trust themselves and trust where they want their business to go, what they see for their business, because there are so many people that have opinions or thoughts of things they think you should do. But you go into business for a reason, right? Business owners, start a business for a reason, for a mission, for a goal. So I would say try your best to block out, absorb what you will, of course, right? But block out the comments that aren't for you and stay on your path to what you feel is the best thing for your business.
No, I mean it definitely helps when people, can see that path, right? And like it's easy sometimes just to start a business and just to keep it going, but to really drive a business that you have to bring people into, like offering services is
Mhm.
one thing, right? But you actually have to recruit people into the business in order to keep it lively and keep it going. So, being able to have that
Right.
advice, especially for somebody that's aspiring to eventually own their own studio, is something that would definitely help them towards the future. A couple more questions just before we close it out, and I want to make sure, being a young business owner, take me through the struggles of kind of like, when you were started, kind of like, what drove you to like it possibly give up, but you keep pushing on, right? So take me through kind of the struggles, and
Yeah.
not only that, like personal life too, like how are you juggling that?
Yeah. Wow. So many struggles when I started. So many. Like I said, I was so young. I was 18. So I don't think anybody could have been more excited, the thought of starting the business. But I was young, right? And people saw that I was young. So they were like, you don't have experience. I specifically remember this one parent um, coming to us. It was me, my mom, my mother and I, and a close friend of mine. We started this business together, all very young. And I specifically remember this one parent coming up to me and saying, "Wow, you look really young." And I was like, I am. I am young. And so for her, offensive, and like, you must not think I have experience or skill or the ability, right? So she, I don't think she didn't continue with the studio, and we had some people who felt I was too young to teach. And then I had other people who loved the fact that I was young and could relate to their kids. And obviously in the business world, I was just starting college, right, myself. I was just graduated high school. So my mother helped me with the business then, but we, literally started from the ground up. We were brand new at this, we kind of went day by day. We had a vision, but it was a struggle to really put it all into play. We started very small. I went to college full time. I had the business, and I also taught at a daycare like 2 days a week. And so I literally was running everywhere all the time and just trying to keep my excitement alive and push through the people that felt that I couldn't do it. I'm kind of one of those people where if you tell me I can't, I'm going to be like, oh, yes, I can. That's
Mhm.
kind of my mentality. And so I think one of the biggest things in the beginning was my age and being able to kind of prove to people, if you will, that I can do it, that I was going to do it. And then eventually over time, the more years that pass, the more confidence I think people have, or they see, or if they had their firsthand experience, they would know how much my heart was in it for all the right reasons. And I was lucky that I had a lot of people that did grow with me. And over time, we added more staff members. We said goodbye to some. We added some new, and it's truly been one of the most like amazing, scariest experiences of my life. And I'm proud that I've been able to push through even through COVID. Or all of those things have
Mhm.
really tested the willpower of small businesses. And yeah, I mean the first I don't know, was it the first step? I went to college for 6 years. So the first 6 years I was juggling full-time school, the business, and another part-time job on top of it. So that was probably one of the hardest times. And then I worked full-time after college during the day for 6 years until I had my son. And then I finally, not until 2017, that I decided to do the studio full-time. And I even opened a cafe for like a year and a half in between. I don't know. I'm just somebody that really works hard and, tries to really push the right to, show people that it is possible to open a business and be young and be successful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's important, and you kind of cut out a little bit, but just to kind of summarize stuff like that, and
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
really no towards the end, so we got most of that, so that's good. And you could see the struggle, right? As a business owner, you're about to run and to your next class, and you also need to find that happy medium with personal life because the kids are in the house, they're yelling, screaming, probably having fun, running around. So you're trying to do this out of your car, so it's a struggle, and I get it. But it's important for people to kind of see the fact that you persevere with these challenges, and you continue to grow your business and really show that you have matched the test of time, right? So one, Cherilyn, thank you very much for allowing me to interview. I really do appreciate it. Is there one closing factor that you would like to leave people with as it pertains to your school and kind of like the things that you do that you wanted to really like push out there?
Um, I guess just trying to think. That's a doozy. I guess just within, like I said, within my studio walls, every instructor, including myself, we really, really genuinely care about what we do and are a business in this area that gives 200% to every single student that comes in, and we would be honored to share this dance journey with anyone who'd like to be a part of it with us.
I mean, you guys are awesome. You guys have let me into your own studios and allow me to do an event. You guys are very awesome to hang around with and work with. You were part of my rewards program for some time when I was doing that before COVID. That I did not meet the testament of time for that one, but I mean, nobody could, like, a lot of businesses closed down, so it was very hard to have a rewards program when all these businesses were closing. But
Yes.
being the fact that you did meet the test of the time, it really shows the perseverance that you have for your business, and the passion that you have for the kids, keeping the doors open and really pushing forward and surviving, right? So I wanted to thank you
Mhm.
again for allowing me to interview you, and just really wanted to kind of go into the, like, these are the moments that people want to hear, is the fact that, you know, as a business owner, as a female-led business, a parent, you've been persevering through a lot of the struggles, not only through just owning a business, but also your personal life as well. Some people that go for a 9 to 5 job, you might not see that, but you not only did that, but you also did a full-time job, a part-time job, and also you did this business, which is a full-time job.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
it's a big struggle for people to see that you still hold it down, you still get everything done. So it's great to see a
Do
lot
my
of this
best.
stuff. Yeah. But you know, that's what these videos are for. And if you guys check out these videos, the biggest thing that you can do is just making sure that you like and share not only her page, but also the videos that we do to interview them, so that way they can kind of persevere and also get more, you know, word of mouth out there in the sense of virtual, you know, social media style, and, you know, giving them the capability to not only reach the people that they would normally reach, but reach more people to keep their businesses thriving and growing. So Cherilyn, thank you very much for allowing me to interview you. That being said, everybody, we're
Thank
going to be
you.
hitting the streets. We're going to be doing more and more, and more and more and more interviews with different business owners. We also have a comic version of that, so comic book version of owners and creators coming up. So we're going to branch off on that, but, you know, listen, every Wednesday, 12 noon, check out these videos, support the different businesses by either sharing the content or even just stopping by. There's always a way to kind of help these businesses venture forward without necessarily patronizing them, but it is important to keep them lively and keep them growing. So that being said, everybody, this is Mr. 845, and we're signing off.
Thank you.